Farm Bureau. Nubyjas Wilborn joins us right now. He covers the Auburn Tigers at AL.com. And Nubyjas, I was thinking during the break, where should we start? And this is one of those stories where it's like, I don't even know what the proper first question is to ask. And so I'm just going to go to one of your tweets and editorialize just for a second. I think it's the biggest boss move that Brian Harsin has just stayed on vacation through all of this.
I mean, look. I mean, do you come off vacation to get fired, or do you enjoy your vacation? I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't know the answer. This is ridiculous, man. Look, I've covered sports for a little bit of time. I covered a baseball team that the closer ended up being a child predator in Felipe Vasquez. I've covered the Atlanta Braves. I've been around a lot of different situations, and this is one of the more bizarre I've seen, where basically this Board of Trustees meeting was scheduled because they had to confer the new president, who was the dean of the engineering community, right? All right. So the Board of Trustees meeting was scheduled. All of a sudden, I start getting texts about Brian Harsin allegedly having an affair with a staffer, all right? Turns out it appears that isn't true about the staffer. So then, by the way, I was in Mobile for the Senior Bowl as all this is going on, and also still trying to keep up with, the number one basketball team in the country and all that good stuff, right? So fast forward, this is Thursday when things start rumbling. Then Friday, things start picking up when tweets from Smoke Monday, who's a former player, now a former player, as well as a former defensive lineman who transferred to UCF to go back with Gus Malzahn. Those tweets came out.
Was that Big Cat that did that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So, Lee Hunter, So that was a whole situation, right? And I'll be honest, I really don't know what to make of all of it other than just to give people the factual information. So basically where we're at with this is there's a group of people who just do not like Brian Harsin. If you talk to some people, there are people who are upset because he didn't attend the Georgia High School Coaches Conference. Now, from the other side, they'll say, well, he sent 5 assistants, including a new coordinator, and that thing happened on the same day as Austin Davis, the former offensive coordinator who was there for a month maybe, announced that he was leaving the program, all right, to take care of some personal issues, all right? I've heard some more on those personal issues. I don't want to get into that because that's Austin Davis' business, and, you wish him well, all right? And then Austin Davis leaving comes, less than a week after Derek Mason left the program, and now we have now found out that Derek Mason, apparently, according to a report, took a $400,000 a year pay cut to go to Oklahoma State. Now,
which is almost $500,000 if you're keeping score at home.
I mean, that's not a small amount of change now. Now, again, you never know with contracts, and you never know, okay? Compensation can be relative. There could be other forms of compensation that we don't know about. That could, we don't know. Bonuses, who knows? But if that report is true, he took a $400,000 pay cut a year, and that's not, like I said, that's not pocket change now. So that could also be telling. There were some issues with the defensive line coach hire that ended up being Jimmy Brumbaugh. They talked to certain people in the NFL. I can let this name go now. Like Carl Dunbar from the Steelers was someone who they spoke to. There was a few people they spoke to ultimately ended up coming up to Brumbaugh, who, of course, is an Auburn alum, had a pretty good career at Auburn, and he's now the defensive line coach as of now. Again, who knows where all this stuff goes because, they had to make changes, bring up Jeff Schmedding to be the defensive coordinator. And depending on who you believe, there's a thought that Schmedding was going to be the guy anyway, and Harsin wanted one of his guys. There had been some conflict between Mason and Harsin. I guess Harsin was under the belief that it was settled, and apparently it wasn't. Also, Mason met with the team, and according to several people who were in that meeting, told people that he wasn't taking another job, only to take a job 3 years later. He needed time. So maybe 2 to 3 days wasn't a personal time, okay? I don't know. I mean, or Oklahoma State came back with some type of. I mean, you don't know. You don't know why people end up taking jobs though. But,
so Nubyjas, there are lots and lots of layers to this. There's all this stuff that's out
we could
there.
talk for an hour. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's so fascinating to me, and look, I mean, Auburn doesn't have the market cornered on crazy. Everybody's got their share of crazy.
Yeah, of course.
I just feel like it plays out more publicly at Auburn than it does a lot of other places. Why is that?
I just got here in October, man. I don't know. I mean, it's just so weird. I mean, it's serious. This is strange, and I don't know how to describe it other than, like I said earlier, just saying what I can see. And basically, from the looks of it, either they're going to fire him with cause and not pay the buyout, or come up to a settlement, or they're going to pay his full buyout, I guess, of $18 billion, then plus have to buy out whatever assistance he has and whatever that's going to cost. Depending on what you believe, that might be anywhere from $20 million to $50 million by the time all of it's done to do all that. Or keep the man and pretend like none of this ever happened.
Yeah, but I mean, if you keep him, I mean, you've cut his legs off, you've cut his arms off. I mean, he's impotent, the whole deal, and then you just wait until the end of the season and you do it then, and you still owe him a bunch of money.
Well, I mean, true, or maybe he hires the right offensive coordinator. He uses the 8 scholarships they have and waits to the end of spring ball and finds some other disgruntled players from other programs to bring them along. And they go out next year and they get back to being about where Auburn expects to be typically. I mean, because if you actually go back and look at the games, after that Ole Miss game, you would have thought Auburn was a near top 10 team in the country. You could deal with the Texas A&M loss because, I mean, College Station is a weird place, although we've been there. It's a tough place to play. It's a weird situation, and neither team scored an offensive touchdown.
College Station is a weird place on a lot of levels, Nubyjas. I don't know how much time you spend there, but yes, I would agree.
Yeah, it's a little strange, man. I mean, listen, people there are really nice people. God bless them, but it's a little weird, man, okay? So you can even deal with that loss. I mean, because Texas A&M was a good club. I mean, they beat Alabama, for Christ's sake. I mean, losing to them at their place isn't anything to be ashamed of, considering, again, they beat Alabama, all right? So the Mississippi State loss, that's pretty indefensible. I mean, you're up 28-3. And from what I was told, that started some of the conflicts between Mason and Harsin, that loss. Because even with that loss, then you get Bo Nix injured in that game. And once Bo Nix was injured, the wheels pretty much fell off. And they just couldn't find a way. Losing to South Carolina, I mean, that's indefensible. And you had that 4th down play where Mike Bobo calls a shotgun pass that doesn't work instead of using, the 6'5", 200-something pound quarterback and try to see if you can just get a yard leading him forward.
Well, I mean, if you want to make a better argument for firing Brian Harsin, it should be Brian Harsin hiring Mike Bobo as an offensive coordinator in the first place, but we kind of digress.
Well, I mean, but even with that, I mean, you're trying to hire somebody with some conference experience, and it didn't work, so you fired him.
Yeah, but he's just not good at his job.
I mean, listen, I agree with you, but, I mean, these people know way more about football than I'll ever know, so I can only
Let me ask you this, though. Let's finish here. We've only got about a minute left.
Mm-hmm.
What power does Alan Green have in this? I've known Alan for a long time. I like him. I think a lot of him. I feel like he's done a pretty good job. Felt like a lot of his capital was burned up with this Brian Harsin hire. So as we sit here today, does Alan Green have the authority or the ability to make decisions that he thinks need to be made for Auburn football?
I mean, if he did, we probably wouldn't be here now, would we?
Seems reasonable.
I mean, I was just saying, it's unfortunate, but it doesn't appear so based upon the way this is going. Because even the statement University release, that wasn't Alan Green's name on that statement. That was just University. That should have been the athletic director making that statement. Should it not have been? By now, we should have talked to the athletic director. That's kind of telling now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting to see where it all goes. Nubyjas, really appreciate your time. Good visit.